like fire in the dark. Fenway roars loud, breaking the spark. Green monster rising, shadows tall. Home of the dreams where legends fall. Red Sox Digest. Feel the heat, feel the flame. Red Sox Digest. Chasing glory, chasing fame. Red Sox Digest. This is the heartbeat of the game. Echoes of the past run through the ground. Ted and yells, their spirits resound. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd. Boston's blood.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Red Sox Digest. Jace Andrews alongside Houston at Kellman. Houston, we are officially in the off-season. For better or for worse, the Dodgers are back-to-back champions. The positive note behind this is now the Yankees aren't the most recent positive back-to-back champions, so I'm going to take that positive run with it, and that the Yankees, that was really the only thing they had in their back pocket, was because 27 rings doesn't matter anymore, and so we were the last back-to-back. That doesn't matter anymore. Dodgers are the last back-to-back, but we're here to talk about the Red Sox, here to talk about the offseason. Alex Bregman today officially opted out. There's still some decisions to be made. We'll talk about Trevor Story, because technically he has an opt-out. We'll talk about Lucas Giolito, what's going on with him after the injury. Is he required to be back with the Red Sox? Do the Red Sox want him to be back? We'll talk that, and then we'll talk some Pete Alonso just a little bit, just because it was reported today that apparently the Mets really do want him back. However, the Red Sox are supposed to be interested in him. However, I don't know how interested, and I'll kind of talk my opinion, and we'll obviously get your opinion as well. But let's start with this off-season. We're going to do our predictions later, but just because it's fun, and we're officially in the off-season, what's your one bold prediction? Doesn't have to be Red Sox, but your one bold prediction for the MLB offseason.
Not including the Red Sox?
It can be the Red Sox. It can be anything in the world. I'm just trying to get it right. By the way, hello to Veronica and Mason. Intro is fire, bro. We got some good cookers in the lab. What can I say? But one big, one like bold scenario that you think is going to happen, and doesn't have to be Red Sox related. Obviously, if you want to, go ahead. But I'm just curious about the entire MLB. Not everybody's in the offseason. There's no team that's not in the offseason anymore. What's your bold prediction?
If we're going across the league, and I think this is the most bold, Scooble's no longer in a Tigers uniform. By the time the 2026 season officially starts, take that how you wish. There's going to be every team in the world going after him, whether it's the Red Sox, whether it isn't the Red Sox. He's no longer in a Tiger uniform, is my bold prediction. What about you, Jace?
That was probably going to be mine, so I'm glad we got that errants out there. However, I think one of my bold predictions is that Freddie Peralta will be wearing a Dodgers uniform. I think that he will get traded to the Dodgers. I think they'll give up a couple pitchers for him, because they had a lot of pitching depth. They had so many injuries, and Freddie Peralta has posted day in and day out. We know the Dodgers. We know that the Brewers love to get their young prospects in. They have William Contreras. I wouldn't be surprised if they went after Dalton Rushing, put him at first base, given that Rhys Hoskins is kind of a wishy-washy guy over there. I think Freddie Peralta ends up as a Dodger. I think he gets traded. I think he ends up as a Dodger. That's my one bold prediction. If you want to go further, I think I don't think this is a bold prediction, but I think Murakami just goes to the Dodgers, and I think he takes a deal to go there. I think he's going to be pursued by everybody. I don't think he's going to get the price that he wants because of his strikeout rate, but I think he'll go to the Dodgers on a bargain deal. But so those are both predictions. Let's talk Alex Bregman. Obviously, let's go right into the Red Sox stuff and kind of talk about Alex Bregman. So today he officially opted out of his contract. We knew this was coming. He said he was going to opt out basically 3 weeks ago now at this point. So we knew this was coming, but I'm curious where you stand now. We've had our opinions and we've talked about this for a plethora amount of time, but right now, what do you think is like the most likely outcome? What are you feeling on that whole Alex Bregman situation?
So I gave it a lot of thought today specifically because we got a video up on Red Sox Digest today discussing how it was made official by Jeff Passan and basically every other major source covering the game of baseball. Just like you said, Bregman opted out of that contract. Now, again, like you said, it was something that had been discussed for the last almost 3 weeks now, ever since the Red Sox had been eliminated, unfortunately, by those nasty New York Yankees. It was made clear he's probably most likely going to opt out. It ended up happening. No real surprise there. Going forward, what are the Red Sox going to do through the entirety of this offseason? As it's going to be a long, drawn out process, which should end up being pretty aggressive from the Red Sox point of view, not only from just acquiring guys overall, but specifically going out and acquiring more pitchers, as well as bringing Bregman back and adding some more talent next to him with the removal of some other pieces. Now, we'll get into that later because we've talked about it ad nauseum with the outfield depth that they do have. But I'm very confident, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's me just being hopeful, but I'm very confident that Bregman does return to Boston. And I think he's going to get the years. I think he's going to get that 5 to 6 year mark, and I think he's going to get close to almost 160 million in that contract. It's going to be roughly almost $30 million. I don't think they're going to go much past that. Obviously, the Royals and the Tigers are the two biggest other teams that are going to be in pursuit of Alex Bregman. Unfortunately for the Red Sox, because it's not going to just be a game of chicken like it was last offseason. But now they have seen Alex Bregman outside of a Houston Astros jersey. They know he can do it basically anywhere. And it's not just the statistical production that you're paying for. This is something we talk about ad nauseum, unfortunately, but it's true. It's accurate. The ability that he has to coach through things and be a role model while also being a productive figure defensively as well as offensively, he's undeniable. It's someone the Red Sox should absolutely go out there and give him the long tenured contract he's looking for. And again, we're not saying 8 to 12 years. That is not what we're. But that 6 year mark, it seems really, really appropriate for someone like Alex Bregman, and it's out. It's past the statistical production that you're going to get. So I'm very confident. I don't know if I just woke up on the right side of the bed today, but this was standing out to me. When I made that video earlier today, I mentioned all of these points, as well as how I am a bit delusionally confident that the Red Sox are going to bring back Bregman. It just seemed like the relationship was a match made in heaven for these two guys, or for these two squads, in the sense of Bregman's party with Scott Boras leading the way, in the sense of him being his manager, and then Bregman just having Bregman's beers, fitting in the way he did offensively, just fitting in the way he did vocally with this Red Sox team, and having Fenway Park there and the rest of this Red Sox nation. I'm confident he comes back to Boston.
I agree. I think that there is a calm kind of confidence that, like, I don't expect him to go. I'm on the same mindset of you of, like, I'm expecting a Matt Chapman-like contract. That's what I'm looking at.
Yes.
Like 6 years, probably a little more than Chapman. He got 151, which is a 25 AAV. I'm willing to go up to like a 32 AAV. I think would be about a perfect amount for the Red Sox. That'd be good to spend and get him from, in theory, until his age, what's that, 38th season at that point would be how long you'd have him till, which I think
he's
is
31 now.
Yeah,
31
so he'd be turning 38. He'd be turning 38 after the contract. So I'm fine with that. I don't think that breaks Craig Breslow's model either, because he's then 36. It's not like he's, this 40-year-old by the time you're done and you got 3 years on the back of the contract where it's nothing. But the biggest thing, and the reason why I'm so confident, is in a lot of these contracts, and I have the kind of comparable players here: Machado, Chapman, Rafael Devers. I wonder where he is. Austin Riley. I still can't get over that one. But Austin Riley, like, these guys all sign these big contracts. And for Devers, Riley, and Machado, I would have to say, I won't speak to Chapman because I think he's a better leader. But for Devers, Machado, and Riley, I have to think that on the back end of that contract, there are going to be some years that are wasted. Whether it be because they're just going to hit home runs and that's it, and they're going to strike out a lot, or they're not going to perform. The difference that I see from these four guys and Alex Bregman is specifically one thing. Those back 3 years of Alex Bregman's career are not going to be wasted because of what you just mentioned, Houston. He is a coach. He will come out here. He will make people better. So when those last 3 years come, and if his production is not as what we want it to be, first of all, he still has the green monster and can always hit some wall ball doubles and get maybe a ball at least to the point where he can, get a single off the wall ball or use that wall to his advantage. And then on top of which, you're just going to be coaching at that point Roman Anthony that is hopefully signing another extension soon at that point, and and a potential for Marcelo Meyer, who, I mean, I have a vision of him being a not a super utility player, but a guy who can play all over the infield and can bat in the bottom half of the order. And I think he can coach him to kind of be that way because Bregman knows how to kind of play in whatever way he's asked. So I like the fact that Bregman will come back. And personally, the one team that I was worried about was the Dodgers. Was the Dodgers, not the Dodgers, the Tigers, because they were the team last year that got him. And like you said, AJ Hinch, just like the Red Sox and Alex Cora, they have that connection there. But they seem to have their own problems right now with Tariq Skubal to where I'm kind of like, they got some other stuff going on. If I'm Alex Bregman and they're not giving the right offer to Skubal, first of all, what's the right? So they're going to give us the right offer to me. And then second of all, am I really going to sign with the Detroit Tigers, who made it again? They made it to the ALDS this year, but a team that could potentially lose their workhorse pitcher next year, if not this year. Like I don't really see that. Where the Red Sox, you have Roman Anthony for 8 years. You've got Marcelo Meyer for 6 and Christian Campbell for 6 and Ceddanne Rafaela for another 4. You've got Wilyer or Jarren. Pick your choice in the outfield. You have a lot of good pieces, and I expect them to sign somebody to a decent deal this offseason, whether it be at first base or third base, some sort of DH position with a power bat. Maybe an outfield if that's what they want to go. If they really want to get spicy with it, I'll kind of go with my offseason prediction later, but there's a chance for a Kyle Tucker getting into this. And so we'll talk about that. But I don't see a way in which the Detroit Tigers, who he didn't play with this year, who his wife is not going to college at Michigan, she's going to college at Harvard. There's just so much in Boston for him. I can't see him leaving unless it is legitimately night and day in contracts, which if I'm Craig Breslow, it's not going to happen. And if I'm Alex Bregman, I'm saying, here's what the Tigers are offering me. Offer me $1 more and I'll stay here. That's all. Offer me $1 more and I will be here.
It's going to be intriguing. I don't know if it comes down to the same way it played out last offseason, because there was a lot of conversation when any of us, all of us, that creators on this channel for Red Sox were covering this Alex Bregman situation, and it was daily stuff. It was day after day. We were getting new small updates, and all it was alluding to was the fact that the Red Sox and Alex Bregman and these other teams are just involved in a big game of chicken. And that sounds crazy to think of, but it really was accurate. Everyone was kind of just on the fence about the number they were going to present to Bregman, the amount of years they were going to present. And it really came down to who's going to offer more at the last minute, because it just like the Tigers, the Royals, and the Red Sox were all involved in this conversation, but no one was making a clear-cut offer that was going to persuade Bregman to their respected organization. Now that Bregman has been a part of this Red Sox team for a year, he's been a part of he's been alongside all of these other great notable names that are going to be a part of this Red Sox team for a long time. Like you just mentioned, Roman, Marcelo, Christian Campbell, the list goes on and on, a very young talent they have. Why would you want to go take money? Even if they did present you a really formidable contract, just hypothetically saying Detroit, if the biggest question mark in their organization is going to be arguably, if without again, you can argue, we can argue, because we're fans of Garrett Crochet and we watched every start he made this season as the best pitcher in baseball, but Tariq Skubal is the guy. Like, the fact that there is even a conversation about not paying him what he's expecting, or even relatively close to what he's expecting, should be a major red flag, at least outside looking in, for any major free agent player that is looking to be acquired by the Tigers market.
Yeah, it's the Red Sox are just in a better position.
Yes,
the Red Sox are just in a better position, and
yes.
the Tigers are proving what they are about in their organization by being $250 million off on a contract from Skubal. I think that in and of itself would scare me away, because, I mean, we can both have our opinion on this. Garrett Crochet would be in a position of getting a $400 million contract right now if Craig Breslow did not make the right decision and sign him early. Now, Garrett Crochet wanted to, and I don't think Garrett Crochet is pissed about it. He's still multi-generational wealthy. Like, he's fine, and guess what? He signed at the right time where he's going to get another contract later, and probably still in his prime. It might not be a longer contract, but it might be a 3-year and, whatever AAV that Skubal got, maybe $10 million more by that point in the way the MLB land works. Of course, it could be lower because we don't know what's going to happen next year. And so for Tariq Skubal and for the Tigers, I think it's a weird thing because, I mean, there's a chance that in a couple months from now, we may not be talking about how baseball, or not a couple months, a year from now, could be talking about how baseball may not be happening in that time. So I don't want to get into that.
Off until we get there.
Exactly. I was like, I don't want to get there, but there's the official tweet from Jeff Pass and Alex Bregman opted out of his contract. We all knew that was going to happen. Immediately, the tweets all over talking about him going back to the Astros. Personally, if I had to make a bet and tell you like the top odds for like each team, I'd put the Red Sox at minus 100. I'd put the Tigers at probably plus 400. I'd probably put the Royals right there plus 400.
Yeah,
I'd put the Astros behind that though. Like I don't think I think the Astros are the long shot in all this in my mind. I'm not worried about that.
I 100% agree. I think it's Red Sox should be the odds-on favorites to land Bregman this offseason. And I actually disagree with you just ever so slightly. I think the Royals would actually be a slight favorite in comparison to the Tigers because we haven't heard any crazy things surrounding their organization up to this point of the offseason. Yes, it is very, very, very early. Like, it literally couldn't be any earlier. The World Series just ended, 2 days ago. There's still a lot of time in this offseason. That's a lot of things are going to happen. A lot of news is going to break across the board, regardless of the organization or the team that you're focusing on. But because of the collection of talent they have, I believe they'd be just behind the Red Sox. Bobby Witt and the other good pitching they have that's already been taken care of financially.
Yeah, they definitely have like a good situation over there, and that's like obviously something that I think Bregman is prioritizing, like obviously years, and he said that he wants this to be his last contract or something. So him wanting to be his last contract does kind of worry me because Bregman seems like a guy who wants to play till he's 40. And so in that case, is he going to say 8 years? That's the only worry I have, but I still think like they might do that. I just think they might make it really front loaded. And those back half of the years, like that 6, 7, 8 year, they might give him like, you're getting $15 million a year here, buddy. we're not paying a lot, so I'm curious about that. But let's stay on the corner infielders here, and we've talked ad nauseum about Bregman, but I did find it interesting that we got a new report today about Pete Alonso. It was Ken Rosenthal. He talked about saying, I have never gotten the impression that David Stearns wants Alonso long term. So it seems like the Mets are in a position where they're not looking to add him for the contract that Pete Alonso wants, which, by the way, if you don't know, Pete Alonso wants a 7-year contract, which I don't know if he's getting that from anybody. Personally, I would offer him a max of 4 years to be my max. I'd like to get him for 3 years if I'm just a GM. I'm not saying the Red Sox, just as how valuable he is and what he would do. That's what I give him. But Ken Rosenthal said it seems to him that teams who badly need power could get it. Including the Red Sox. More interesting. Cool. There'll be more interest around Pete Alonso this time, given his year this season. Where do we stand on Pete Alonso? What's kind of the thought process for you?
Alonso's interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of Pete Alonso, at least not in a Red Sox jersey, and the reason being is because would he fit? Yes, but would he substantially push the needle for this team? He could. But with the other options out there and available, I don't know if I would enjoy hearing or witnessing him being the number one or maybe even a top 2 or 3 option for the Red Sox this offseason. I understand the power bat is greatly, greatly needed for the Red Sox. It's something they absolutely have made abundantly clear on all levels. That's something they absolutely aspire to obtain this offseason, which I don't have a problem with. We talk about Schwarber, we talk about Murakami, we talk about these other prolific power bats that could be substantial and a piece of this Red Sox team going forward. But if Pete Alonso is that guy, I don't know if I'm as confident as maybe another name. And again, the names that we've plugged in earlier, I will say, sorry about the dogs. I will say, if you notice on Spotrac, the contract comparisons are wild for what is expected for someone of Pete Alonso. It's roughly 5 years, 150 million, which doesn't seem crazy at face value, but then it goes to comparable players and throws out Manny Machado again, which is a bit interesting because he got 11 years for 350. But then you see Freddie Freeman, Aaron Judge, and Alex Bregman. They are all over the place when it comes to contract comparisons for Pete Alonso here. If I had to guess, it's something relatively closer or close to Alex Bregman's contract with the Red Sox the first time over. 3 years, 120 million. And if the Red Sox are going out there and giving Pete Alonso 40 million for 3 years, I don't know if that's a great move with the other options they have available. I would love to hear how you think about it, but again, some of these comparisons, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman's the player I look at in the comparable players. Like that's the
Yeah,
one I look at
6
just
years,
because
160.
it makes sense that I could see someone. I think it's a reach, but Freddie was 32 when he signed that contract. 27 AAV back then is a lot less than it is now. I think that's a decent number. I think that's a high overpay. If I had to give his market value, which they say is an AAV of 29.4, personally, his market value to me is a 24, 25 million AAV. I'm not that big on like giving him a long-term contract. I think anything past 6 years is dumb as long as you make that AAV at 24 or 25. If he wants that AAV to be higher, if he wants that AAV to be around $30 million a year, then I'm giving you 3 years or 4 years max. I'm not giving you those extra 2 years on the back end because I believe his power is going to stick. I believe he has kind of something to prove because no one's going to be believing in him once again this year, I think, because, listen, he did great, but the Mets didn't make the playoffs, and he kind of stunk down the stretch. And so I am of the mindset that he will get a contract. I don't think it'll be the Red Sox. I don't think Pete Alonso, in my mind, just doesn't fit the model of Craig Breslow. And even if he does, I don't really want him. Like, I just don't see where his value comes from. Like, I legitimately would rather, and I know this is stupider than what it is, but I would rather go out and get Kyle Schwarber. But what sucks is because of Craig Breslow's decisions he's made already, basically stating, I don't want an all-time DH. If he goes and he signs Kyle Schwarber, I mean, people are going to be happy, don't get me wrong, but he's basically just going to go back on what he said about Rafael Devers. He's going to go back about his whole philosophy. And so that's where if I'm Craig Breslow, or if I'm trying to be Craig Breslow, I'm telling him, listen, you said some stupid crap, and the Red Sox have long, long history of saying some stupid crap and going back on it. So in this instance, don't do something just because you said it. But the problem I have with that thought is, well, Rafael Devers is not in a Red Sox uniform because of Craig Breslow's pride, in my opinion. Simple as that. I know he wasn't a great teammate.
I don't think that's a crazy take.
It's a pride. That was what kicked him out.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, if he has that much pride about Rafael Devers, is he going to then change his mindset and go out and get a Kyle Schwarber, get a Pete Alonso? I'd rather Kyle Schwarber. If he goes out and gets Pete Alonso, I know they have no want for Tristan Casas anymore, but at least he's cheap and he can perform like Pete at times. I mean, if you're going to do something like this, I just don't know where it leads. I know first baseman is an option, but I don't like any option at first base right now, which kind of sucks.
And that's going to be in my I'm just doing what you're doing. I'm speculating to some degree, going off the information that we do have. Pete Alonso being able to play first base is going to push that needle for Breslow and the model that he goes off of so religiously, as we all know. So the fact that he's going to get something defensively out of Pete Alonso in comparison to Kyle Schwarber, I wouldn't be as surprised if they did go after Pete more and stronger, faster than they would have someone like Kyle Schwarber, which I'm like you and a lot of Red Sox Nation, I would really, really push against and go the opposite direction and go after someone like Kyle Schwarber rather than a Pete Alonso. And I do apologize for my dog. I know he's yapping right now. He's my sister just walked out the door, so he's losing his mind.
Yeah, no, it's Kyle Schwarber to me is just so much better. It's as simple as that. He's the better option. I don't think he should have left Boston in the first place when he did leave. thanks, Chaim Bloom. You gave that money to Masataka Yoshida. Great job there. Glad that's why you don't have a job, is why you don't. Right there, Mr. Chaim Bloom. People want to talk about all the drafting he did. He was a part of the draft process. There was other people who made that decision, though. But, okay, yeah. Any other free agents that you want to talk about, like any new reports on here that everybody kind of, made? Like Cody Bellinger's a free agent now. He opted out.
Yes.
I mean, that's an interesting one. But I think the biggest question now for the Red Sox purposes, obviously, like you can speculate and have rumors, but inside the organization, let's have the Lucas Giolito conversation real quick, because I don't think this one's going to take long, because we can't really there's no speculation with this. He reached 140 innings, which means that his contract, which had a mutual option, is now a player option, because if he hit that 140, it's a player option. So he wasn't able to pitch in the postseason. He had some elbow inflammation, is what they called it. I think personally that he will be fine to pitch next year. The curiosity gap that I have is, your one is Garrett Crochet. Your two is hopefully a Joe Ryan, a
Hunter Green.
Hunter Green. I know it'd be pretty hard to get. Hunter Brown, I would love to see him if you could get a trade like that done. Freddie Peralta, well. I know I said Dodgers, but I think he would be a great fit in Boston as well. Hopefully it's something of that nature. Your three is then you're going to be Bello. Your four, in my opinion, is Conley Early. I don't think it's Giolito. And so then at that point, are you giving up your 5 slot in the rotation to Lucas Giolito, who will have one more year, is older, or are you going to give that 5 slot to a Peyton Tolley, a Hunter Dobbins, a Richard Fitz? I mean, the stats for Giolito for about month's time were fantastic. I mean, he was one of the best pitchers in the league, which is what a 3 is. You pitch like a 1, and then you pitch like a 6. Like, that's just how it kind of goes. So I'm curious on your opinion. Are you giving that 5th slot in the rotation to Giolito, or is there somebody else that you would rather have? Because I would rather have Hunter Dobbins in that 5 slot if he's ready to go.
I love the idea of Hunter Dobbins being the 5th guy. We talked about this the first time we went live like 2 or 3 weeks ago. How long a season affects the actual memory of everyone that loves and follows this game, because despite how much you follow it and how much you love it, you forget about things that happen in the first 40, 50, even 60 games because of how long these seasons are. Hunter Dobbins was an absolute stud. And I'm not saying he was a Cy Young candidate or he was going to be the ace of the Boston Red Sox. That's not what I'm saying. But I am 110% on the same page as you. If he could be the 5th guy in that starting rotation and he could be healthy for just 2/3 of the season and get another good patch into that career, he is going to take leaps and bounds upward in playing alongside guys like Garrett Crochet and Brayan Bello, who have now added another year to their resume and were successful in this following year. They know what it takes. They know what it's like to be a professional athlete and to have this as a job. I would much rather go in the direction of Dobbins. Even someone like Peyton Tolley, I know he's probably going to be a relief guy for the Red Sox going forward, unless he makes some type of stride that is above and beyond any expectation up to this point.
He would have to keep 100 miles an hour for 70 pitches.
It couldn't be an adrenaline dump, type of guy. Yeah, I follow, but oh man, it would be. I really like the young arms the Red Sox have available. Now, if you want to play plug and play and name a guy on the market that could possibly be the 5th guy, we know how long that laundry list is in comparison to even over someone like Lucas Giolito.
Speaking of the 5, Bob Bobbers had a good point. The advanced analytics for Giolito make him look like Walker Buehler, basically. And we know how that looked out for him. So Walker Buehler was that guy last year. He was supposed to be a 3 or a 2, which was, I kind of thought that was blasphemous when they were saying that. But Corey Jacquez saying Gio's not worth $22 million. He's not. But the problem is it's his choice because he pitched 140 innings. Like the Red Sox, they can't just say, "Oh, no contract anymore." Like that was the whole point of it. If you're healthy and you pitch, we'll give you that second year. And What's funny is there's guys in the organization we haven't even talked about. You want to talk about what's that guy? Patrick Sandoval. Pablo played here too.
Pablo
I
played
hate
for the
that
Giants.
guy. Well, he
Pablo
played for us too, but he didn't play
Yeah.
for us. He just came and ate candy and sat in the dugout. So
Yeah.
it looked like
I did the
Alejandro
same
Kirk
thing
running out there.
when the Red Sox acquired Sandoval. I did the same thing like 3 times in the video I was recording, and every time I did it, I was like, "That's the wrong guy. That's the wrong guy." And then we don't see him for a full year. We're like, "Hey, trade deadline, All-Star break. He's gonna be coming back. He'll be the next guy. He'll be a depth guy for the Red Sox." And we don't see him one singular time all year.
I have more faith in Luis Perales, who's pitching in the Arizona Fall League right now, than Patrick Sandoval. I think we might see Luis Perales before we see Patrick Sandoval. So, yeah, I just don't think it's worth it. I really don't see the point of having Giolito as at 5. And so, I mean, do you go to Giolito and say, like, you're not pitching? But at that point, is he going to come and just sit here and then be a long relief option and do what Cutter Crawford did this year or Patrick Sandoval did this year and just sit around for nothing? Like, I just don't know what the best option here. Like, technically, there's a way where both sides to agree where they can pay him the money and he just leaves. But it's
then you have to eat. You have to
correct.
Eat
You're eating money. Like, no matter what you're paying him. So I'm like, why as well? My thought is just keep him. And we know how much that Alex Cora loves to run a 6-man rotation for the first month of the year. I can't tell you how many times we started the season and had a 6-man rotation. So I, in my mind, see I was about to say the Patriots, the Red Sox. Patriots play now, but the Red Sox coming out and playing with 6 rotational arms, having Crochet, but also in the same breath. We've seen a lot of talk from Craig Breslow. Until we see actions, and there's that number 2 actually here. We need Giolito, because then you're talking about Crochet 1, Bello 2, 3 is going to be early, and then 4 you have to have, a Giolito and then a Dobbins after that. So that's where I'm like, you kind of need him, and you can't like cut him or do anything with it, and you're paying him anyway. So ultimately, he's a good safety. He's a very expensive safety valve, is what he is. It's really all it is.
Let me ask this: is there a way the Red Sox can get out of this situation? Let's just go off of
trade him.
That's what I was getting to. So they can't trade him before he opts, or they pay him that $22 million, I'm assuming. So, right? They would have to,
once he opts in, basically that's a part of his contract. So if he's traded, you have to work out some sort of deal where you could pay half the contract. You eat half the contract and you still trade him and get something out of it. So there could be a way where he opts in and then you trade him and you pay $10 million of the contract and some other team pays $12 million, but you get stuff back from it. That's an option.
So let's play the game. Do the Red Sox and Breslow try to package a damaged starting pitcher in Giolito with someone along the lines of a Wilyer Abreu or and I know this is us being hopeful, because what are the odds someone's going to answer the phone with Lucas Giolito as the main
I
piece
think it's
coming back?
Likely in the season. And that's where I think it's not a bad thing, because we saw how many injuries we had to our pitching staff this year. And so we might need Lucas Giolito. So I think what the best option is to have him as a very expensive safety valve. And if we are into June, July area and we got more than enough pitchers and we see an option to go out and move him and a prospect or whatever, and get somebody of value, then why not? I mean, you don't know what could be. I mean, we've seen some weird trades. We could also see in spring training. I mean, Quinn Priester was about to be our number 5 starter, and man, he would have been a damn good one, but we didn't know at the time, and so we traded him away for Yolfrey Rodriguez or whatever that guy's name is.
Wait, Jace.
Yolfrey?
Wait. Giolito will be declining the player side of his mutual option with the Red Sox. Next up, the Red Sox will decide whether to make him the qualifying offer of 22.5.
What? He declined it?
He declined it. That's from Alex Spear.
Okay,
Corey, thank you for saying that. Corey, thank you for saying that. I thought it was Fugazi.
Yeah, it was 3 hours ago. He would decline his $19 million option. What happens if you don't offer him the qualifying offer?
He walks to free agency, no?
I don't offer him.
I agree with you. I would
Why would
hope
you
they did.
offer him though at that point?
Why would you give him 22 million?
Yeah.
Let me wait. Let me.
So this guy, apparently people are saying that we're going to make it, but he's going to decline it. This is an intriguing thing. I didn't realize he declined it legit today.
What?
Why?
Why would he just walked away from?
Oh, well, here's why. The projection for his contract is 3 years, $65 million.
Who the heck is going to give him that? So he's
Okay, it's
so
a
he
mutual
declined it.
option, so they both had to agree to it. That's why. So unless they both agreed to keep him, he leaves. So that's why. I don't think they're going to offer him the qualifying offer.
I don't either. Does that mean the Red Sox open up 22 million in cap?
It means they open up 19 because that's what they were going to pay him.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yes.
So
19.
20. So they either cut down on 3 because they offer him the 22 and he takes it, or not. So.
Wow.
So well, Lucas Giolito declines player side of mutual option. So yeah, he's basically saying the option was there, and so if you want me, pay me $22 million.
Okay, so it's in the Red Sox decision to be able to go out there and offer him that deal. And I'm gonna speak for you because I just heard you talk we've been talking about this for the last 15 minutes. They should not offer him that qualifying deal. They should keep that 19 million and try to go different directions. Or what that case would be 22 and a half.
I think they're gonna offer him though.
I
don't know why, but I just have this like sneaking feeling they're gonna offer it to him. And here's what's gonna happen: they're not gonna get a pitcher. They're gonna be like, "What? We didn't need a trade for it too. We have him. His name is Lucas Giolito. Look." But even however, here is the thing: we can offer him the qualifying offer, and he can decline it, and we get a 4th round pick out of it if he declines the qualifying offer.
Okay.
Which is also something. So this is what happened last year with Bregman, but it was a different situation. Nick Pivetta got signed by someone else and gave us a pick and gave us some money, which that was enough for us to go out there and get Bregman, apparently. Yeah, I don't think he's going to come back then, which
That's wild. I will just point out the comparable players. We abuse Spotrac here for these conversations, but Spotrac comparable players for Lucas Giolito is just a fine collection. Walker Buehler, Marcus Stroman, Nick
He's in the league?
Martinez, and Chris Bassett. I don't believe Stroman is any longer in the league, but they were dating back to that 3-year, $71 million deal at the age of 30. Walker, 1 year, 21.5, 30 when he signed it. Nick Martinez, 1 year, 21.5, 34 when he signed it. And then Chris Bassett, 3-year, $63 million deal, average of 21 a year at 33 when he signed. So, oh man, I really hope the Red Sox go in a different direction. I think this could really open up some things this offseason, especially in that starting pitching department. And if, say he doesn't come back, they're put in a position where they have to absolutely go out there and make a splash. They can't rely. There's no way they're going to. And I knock on wood because I can't really say that because there is a way. But like we're not going to fall back on Kyle Harrison and
I forgot about him.
we're not going to fall back on Kyle Harrison and Sandoval, right? Like they're not going to just be like, oh well, we had these two guys back here just hanging out waiting for a spot.
Here's the question: when does the qualifying offer have to come?
I just looked at it. 5 days after the World Series ends. I'm 95% sure.
That's when the
pretty sure I've
qualifying
read that
offer has to
today.
be.
Wait, let me double check. MLB dates, off-season dates. I literally Googled this today. Qualifying offer. Qualifying offer means a draft pick compensation. Okay, we know that. Four p.m. November 18th.
So in like 10 days, or well, 15 days.
Wait. The value which changes by the year was 21. Okay, wait. This is an example.
It says within
Uh,
5 days. What it's saying.
yeah, this offer or this year's offers must be made to eligible players. I just lost what I was reading. Eligible players within 5 days of the conclusion of the World Series, and players then have until 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 18th to then accept.
Okay, so we have to offer it within 5 days, which. Yeah. So if we offer him in the next 5 days, he then says that.
If he does not accept the offer, he is free to explore free agency. If he signs elsewhere prior to the next amateur draft, the team that lost him receives a comp draft pick. The team that signs him or signs a player who rejects a qualifying offer is subject to the loss of one or more draft picks through a team's highest first round pick is exempt from forfeit.
Think about the draft picks we had. We're not freaking doing that.
That is wild. Okay.
All right, well.
You want to jump to story?
Yeah, let's do that.
now that we're talking about qualifying offers.
Let's go to story. Yeah, here's a tweet. He's got 5 days from November 1st, so he's got like 2 more days. Apparently, he's going to opt in. That's what the notion around the league is that he'll opt in. I don't see him opting out, but I think he has to understand with opting in, there's a very real possibility he gets moved to second base. Like, there's a very real possibility.
And you think Marcelo's now the shortstop?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've got my off-season predictions if you want to go into that, and I can kind of explain all of it. But
Yeah, if they go hand in hand, let's get into it.
let's go with it. Okay, so we'll do our off-season predictions and end it off on that. But I personally think that this is the best option. This is not. Let me do this. This is not a prediction. This is what if I was Craig Breslow. Here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. So the first thing that I'm going to base this off is one with Alex Bregman and one without. Let's start with that. I'll start first with Alex Bregman because that's the most likely option. I don't see how he's not in a Red Sox uniform next year. If that's the case scenario, I think the first thing you have to do is go out and get Joe Ryan. And if I am the Red Sox, I'm going to the Twins and saying, guys, we know that you are not going to have Joe Ryan for much longer. We would love to take him off your hands. We will offer you Jarren Duran. We will offer you Jan Hingston Garcia. And we'll offer you Brandon Clark. That's 3 guys, including 1 pitcher, for Ryan. 3 guys who, 2 of them are in the minor leagues. 1 of them is in the majors and a player that everybody likes to have. So you could potentially flip Jarren Duran this trade deadline upcoming as well if you wanted to make some more money off us. I think they accept that offer. I think we get Joe Ryan. I think that's really what you need to do for the pitching side. I'm not worried about the bullpen. I love the bullpen. I think it's great. I think you have Aroldis, Whitlock, Slayton, and Tolley out there. Not worried about it. I also think if you use Greg Weissert not as a freaking workhorse, he's good. I like Brennan Bernardino when you don't use him as a workhorse. If they're able to not freaking kill these pitchers out in the bullpen, I think that's good. So that's step number 1. Is you have your secondary pitcher, Jarren Duran is out. You still got to keep Wilyer Abreu. However, I don't know if he stays here for long, though, because in my mind in this situation, you're looking at that first base position and you're questioning, you're saying, what exactly are you going to do? And so I love having that first base option of having different players and having be switched out. So I wouldn't mind keeping Tristan Casas and having, what's his name?
Alonso?
Romy.
Oh, Romy.
And
option.
Platoon option at first base. At that point, I do, however, see your outfield being Roman and Cedon and Wilyer, and you have Masataka Yoshida. I'm offering him up for a bag of chips to anybody who wants to take him and signing Kyle Schwarber. Yeah. There's no use for Masataka Yoshida, but you have to act like there is a use, so I think you have to trade Masa. You can go trade him for a relief pitcher from like the Mariners or somebody. Like, I don't care. Like, go get a relief pitcher, go get somebody else in the bullpen. I like our bullpen, but I'm not opposed to going and get someone else. And in that aspect, they might, if you get a really good option, you could include Willie Abreu because of what I'm about to say. You get you get Kyle Schwarber, and then you go out and you use that money that you saved from signing Rafael Devers, and you sign Kyle Tucker.
Oh, whoa.
You saved money. You saved money
there,
from trading away Rafael Devers. You cannot act like a legitimate organization to spend that money on Pete freaking Alonso. You sign Kyle Schwarber and it's a big contract, sure, whatever. I'm not worried about Kyle Tucker. But I would love to have him in right field for the next decade. You give him a 6-year contract, all of a sudden, here is your lineup for the next 5 years because you signed Alex Bregman. You have a catcher of Carlos Narvaez and I think a really good underrated backup catcher of Connor Wong. Your first baseman is Tristan Casas / the platoon option of having Romy. At second base, again, platoon option, Romy, I think he needs to be playing every day, and Marcelo there, or Story, if you want to move him there. Shortstop, Story, and Marcelo. Third base is Bregman and Marcelo. I want to give Bregman some more time off. Your outfield becomes Roman Anthony in left, Kyle Tucker in right, Cedon in center, and you have a DH of Kyle Schwarber for the next 3 years at least.
No, it sounds awesome.
I know it's a
great.
lot, but the money works. It really does, because you're getting Wilyer off, you're getting Jarren off. You're not paying anybody besides Alex in this situation. Kyle's going to be a 3-year deal, Schwarber. Tucker would be a 6-year deal, so it'd be longer, but you're not paying that contract forever. And if you want to compete with the Dodgers, if you want to compete like this, do it. We are the Boston freaking Red Sox, and we traded away Mookie Betts. Make it right. And spend some money. Because you're there.
Right.
You have Garrett Crochet. You're there. You are there. You make the right decision this offseason, you are there.
So, to piggyback off of everything you just said, which I absolutely love, and if it took place, I wouldn't complain once. But here is my side of things. So, we've talked about Jarren Duran and Willie Abreu at more than any other two people on the Red Sox, without a doubt. And for obvious reasons, one of them is probably not going to be a part of the Red Sox next season because of trying to attempt another starting pitcher or just a big name. Now, Kyle Tucker, I'm gonna be honest with you. Coming into this video before you said that, I had no idea that's where this was going. I thought my biggest opinion on Tucker was he was going to be in the Philly. I really and truly.
Okay, cool. We're trading for Bryce Harper then.
So, and that I'm not even joking you. Like, that was something that I've thought about in like the school situation. There are so many big fish left with huge, just like they're going to impact the league. Like wherever Tucker goes is going to impact the league. Whether it's to Boston or not, it's going to impact Boston because whether he's in division or he's out of division, in league, out of league, like he's not going to be a part of Boston. It's just going to be different. I think Jarren is the outfielder that stays. I'd obviously Cedon stays. No, Cedon's not going anywhere. But I think the Red Sox would move Wilyer before they move Jarren. I don't know. I think Breslow just loves Jarren so much they wouldn't want to move him. I think he's going to remain in left field unless there is an offer that is just so good they flat out can't turn it down. And I think Jarren is going to remain there. Roman will still be there, obviously. I think Schwarber is going to be the biggest fish they go out and acquire offensively. And then when it comes to the rest of the additions of this offseason, I believe they're just going to attack the starting pitching because of the lack of Giolito, the questions of Dobbins, the questions of Kyle Harrison and Sandoval. I'm going to tell myself that Breslow and the rest of this front office do not want to commit to those guys when it comes down to October and you're in the wild card or you have a first round bye, however it may play out. You do not want when it comes down to it, you do not want to rely on those guys. It's just the way it works. You have to have the better pitching when it comes down to it. And yes, having offensive production is great. But we just watched the Dodgers hit 208 all all fall classic. They won because of the pitching. Yes, the offense was problematic, but they got outscored the entirety of that series, but they were still able to win because they had a guy they can turn to and get them out of tough situations. And granted, yes, Yamamoto takes a lot of the light, but that whole starting rotation was pretty damn good to say the least. I think the Red Sox, I think Tucker's in Philly. I really do. I think he ends up in Philly, and maybe that results in Bryce Harper possibly being available. And if that is the case, that would be awesome. Uh, Crochet was just named as a finalist for the Cy Young. Just letting you know.
Also,
Shocker.
Hunter Dobbins posted on Twitter that he is cleared to start his full throwing program, headed to Fort Myers
Let's
now.
go.
He also got Oakley Meta glasses, so he's going to start posting his rehabs on YouTube if you want to watch that.
Yeah. You got to subscriber to me, dude. That guy, I love that guy.
Also,
I love the whole
Lucas
mentality.
Giolito, Red Sox declined their mutual option first, so Lucas Giolito didn't have a choice. The Red Sox declined first. So
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense. Hunter Brown was one of the finalists, by the way, in the AL. Just letting you know.
man, he could be a Red Sox too.
His price tag just went up. His price tag just went way up.
Nah.
Oh,
The
man.
Astros are done. They don't want to pay him.
He has doesn't he have 3 years of arbitration?
Probably, but didn't they trade Kyle Tucker before arbitration? So maybe next year.
Yeah.
The
I don't
Astros are
know.
like the Brewers. They never pay anybody.
Yeah. God.
Also, Shohei
man.
spoke English today, but he can't do it in interviews.
Yeah, and Yamamoto did as well. Awesome.
Great.
Yep. Oh man, I just feel like all of these predictions, or at least all of these hypotheticals that we're going through and walking through and hoping for and just eager to at least witness something along the lines of what we're saying. It's going to come down to there's too many big fish that remain for this to just start. It feels like Scooble something has to happen with Scooble first. And then you're going to have, I feel like it's going to be Scooble, and then you're going to have Kyle
Breaking
Tucker.
news, Red Sox trade for Tariq Scooble and now have the Cy Youngs on their roster.
Don't do that. These
They have
people in the chat
two
are
of the
believe
three
you.
best pitchers in the world on their team.
And
That
by
would
the
be
way,
something.
we're packaging for Skeens next, just letting everyone know.
You know what? Roman had a great career here in Boston. We're trading
No,
him
don't
to-
even start that. Don't
We have the
even-
three best
no.
pitchers on planet Earth, but we have nobody else.
We average 1 run.
Let's
every
be honest.
3
At this point,
games.
we're paying Roman too much for the freaking Pirates to pay, so they wouldn't take him. We're already paying Roman more than their entire roster. And it's not even
So-
on.
to wrap this up, just to make my idea just more clear and why I think the big fish have to go before all of this all hell really breaks loose with all of the other minor moves in the sense of Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso, and the guys that just aren't Scooble or Kyle Tucker. If the Detroit Tigers don't trade him right now, when I say right now, I mean before this season starts, the time bomb is basically gone off. Because if you don't do it now, and you don't do it at the deadline, he's going to walk. Because you can't trade him after the deadline. That's why there's a deadline. So if you don't trade him when you can, he's going to walk in free agency, and you're going to get nothing back in return. And if you're $250 million off, and then from the first report, and then in the second report, they offered him less than 100 million or less than 80 million.
They offered him a much smaller contract with higher AAV than the first contract, but again, it was for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So he was getting 40 million or something a year, but it was for 3 years, so it was 120. It was like Bregman's contract.
It's not going to happen. And
no.
It's comical to even think about after what we've seen and the money we've seen given away, given to these players, specifically starting pitching.
Tariq Scooble, the new Dodgers ace.
No. And they could do it. And they
would pay him right away. They would.
There would be a contract written and
they'd sell
signed
Blake
by
Snell.
one-half
Goodbye,
Wade.
buddy.
Yeah, they'd get rid of Snell. They'd get rid of Mookie
Glasnow
Betts
or something. They wouldn't get rid of Mookie.
they would pack it. Their package would be
At this
so.
point, they want to make Mookie the beat out Jeter for World Series titles. They don't care. He's just gonna play one game a year so he can beat him out.
Oh man,
Mookie's gonna be like 51, just playing in a game a year.
dude. I think Scooble's. I really and truly I think Scooble might land somewhere that we aren't really hopeful for. And the teams that scare me the most are the Dodgers, Philadelphia, and like.
Well, they're both NL at least.
Yeah, but I don't want to see him in either of those.
I don't want to see him there either, but like the Phillies always choke in the postseason, so I'm not really worried about them. The Dodgers worry me more, and they're in the NL though.
That starting rotation, both of those starting rotations right now, if you added Tarek Skubal, I wouldn't even want to watch I'd have to watch the games because I'm a baseball fan, but I wouldn't even want to watch because you'd have.
Imagine a game 7. Imagine a game 7. Here's Yoshinobu Yamamoto starting it off. Well, they did yesterday or 2 days ago. Imagine that though.
If they had Skubal, Yamamoto, Shohei, 1, 2, 3 in whatever order you would like to make that. Oh my God. I'm good. I'm
Congratulations.
So good on that.
The Dodgers have won their 160th game of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. I would hate every minute of that. But I would love to see him in Boston. I just can't imagine what that trade package is going to look like.
Too much.
Jarren, Willier, Marcelo, Christian Campbell, the password, totally early. All right, yeah,
I don't think it'd be that much. I don't think
it wouldn't be that much. But
personally, I think it would cost Marcelo Meyer, Jarren Duran, and 2 prospects. I think that was fine because he's got 1 year. I mean, ultimately, if you go, you could trade him for a year, and if you don't get that contract done, which it seems like Skubal wants to go to free agency, unless they offered him a can't turn down deal. Why would he not want to go to free agency? I mean, especially for pitchers,
he's gonna get $500 million if he goes to free agency.
The only thing that I could see is if Tarek Skubal, being in the MLB, starts to see the signs on the wall and says, damn, in 2027, I'm not going to have a contract and there's not going to be baseball being played. Whereas all these other players are going to be having contracts and get something. That's my only thing where I'm like, Detroit is like, and Skubal might be like, I want to sign something.
Call Detroit. No, from Jarren. Christian Campbell, the password, and Tolle. Do it. I will look the other way. I will cry. I will cry to see those 2 prospects go. But I will be okay because at the end of the year,
but we have Skubal now.
I will. There will be tears, but I will still support them.
No, the max I would offer him, I'd go Marcelo, Duran.
You're higher on Marcelo than I am. You're higher on Campbell than I am. Campbell. I like Campbell. Yeah, your Campbell is my Marcelo, which is funny because I like really
the injuries for Marcelo. Man, it's not that I'm not high on him; he just gets injured every year.
I know.
If he doesn't get injured this season, I'm all aboard. The Marcelo is going to be. We have a new David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia, and it's Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer. Congratulations, everybody!
Sign me up.
But if he keeps getting injured, then I don't know. And I mean, and the big thing is like Roman's good enough where he got to the point where Cora finally said, "Okay, we're not gonna, we're gonna play against every single pitcher." Marcelo has nothing that he has shown me to prove that he can bat against left-handers.
Yeah,
because of Alex Cora's mindset. I don't know if he's ever going to get that shot. I mean, Will Abreu this year had a career year and still wasn't batting against lefties in the postseason. I know he was injured, but even before he got injured, he wasn't batting against lefties. And I was like, this dude's batting like, this dude hits a home run in the most critical spots all year long, but against the lefty, pull him. Like, I like the platoon, but it hurts people. And Marcelo is one of those people that hurts.
Yeah.
Because he's not ever going to get to the time where he's going to, I mean, granted, he played a lot in the minor leagues against left-handers and still hit like crap there. So he's got a lot of time. If he hits like crap against lefties in the minors, then what in the world is he going to do against major league pitching? But I will say he played Marcelo out of Campbell and Roman had the best spring training this year, and no one talked about it.
Yeah, and Christian Campbell was Christian
ass.
Campbell was yeah, that was
I still contend that the reason Campbell got the opening day roster because he was more willing to sign a contract.
he was also willing to play any position they told him to. First, taking grounders, second, shortstop, left, right, center. Like
breaks his rib and is still playing, basically.
yeah, it's like, hey, by the way, we're gonna send Campbell down to AAA again, and we're like, what? Why'd you let him start on the big? He started at second base to start the season. Well, no, he's working on first base right now. He's already played 5 positions. We're gonna add like I'm good with utility guys. I love the ability to be a utility guy. But you're telling me he's going to be qualified to play 6 big league positions?
Well, that's where I think Campbell is the downfall of Jarren or Willier because they see him as a left fielder, Christian. He has a good arm. He can make the routine catches, and he has a monster behind him. He just needs to learn the bounces. So that's where I'm like, I think they see him, and they look at Jarren and say, we have him on a 6-year contract, and if we need him, we can play him at second or short.
You literally move him all over the place.
Like, if we're not going to, we see him as a left fielder. He stinks at second, but, like, we can play him there.
If we can, if we need to.
I still don't get why this season we didn't even give Jarren a shot at second base. He played that in college. He played second base in college. Let him go play there.
He's so fast.
Exactly. Nothing would go past him. You can't tell me he looked awkward in left field. I mean, I would rather see him at second.
When they moved him from center to left, I was confused because he was a Gold Glove finalist. Yeah, looking at it now, I understand. But like, Jarren was a finalist for Gold Glove, not this past year, but the year prior. Yeah, very interesting. This is going to be a big domino effect. Is my biggest guess. I really and truly think Scooble's going to move, and all hell is going to break loose. And I don't think it's going to be like Scooble news breaks, and then we're going to see a series of tweets of just move after move after move. But I think Scooble will move, and then in the following 3 weeks, we're going to see a series of major moves that involve the Red Sox, obviously, because they're not going to. I hope they don't wait around. You muted yourself, Jace.
Better not, because we waited around at the trade deadline and got Dustin May.
Yeah. He's a free agent, by the way.
Good luck.
I would have rather it been Jordan Hicks.
Yeah, can we? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to package Jordan Hicks with Masataka Yoshida.
Yes.
And send them off to Siberia. Don't care where they go.
That's all I want. Just give me something.
Cash considerations, a player to be named later. You take them. Adios.
There we go.
Any final thoughts? Any last contributions you got?
We'll see you next week. Hopefully before that with breaking news. If not,
we're going to have news next week, no matter what. Because we're going to have Story, we're going to have Giolito.
Yeah.
At least if a qualifying offer was offered for Giolito, and if Story is a Red Sox and will finish out his career in Boston, which I think is the most likely situation, or if he is a free agent.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, that's all we got. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Houston said, we'll be back next week. Probably around the same time, 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, 4:30 Central, and you can do the math for the rest because I don't feel like doing it. But somewhere around that time, around 5 Eastern, 5:30 Eastern, 6 Eastern, in that hour range will be live. But thanks for hanging out with us. We'll keep the content flowing on the Red Sox. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And for now, guys, we'll see you next time here on Red Sox Digest.